Hi Libra, how are you guys? So welcome to your mid-month reading. This is the first mid-month reading I do for you. Aside from the very first reading I ever started here on YouTube for each sign, which was originally a mid-month in November. So yeah, this is me launching mid-month readings. Basically, I'm starting with your sign because just as much as this is a mid-month reading, this is also a full moon reading, and the full moon is in your sign of Libra this month of April. So I'm very glad to be starting with you. It only makes the most sense, and this is going to be a new reading in a multitude of ways, because not only am I bringing it for the first time in the middle of the month for you guys, properly with that intention in mind, I'm also going to be using a deck that I've kind of I've put aside for a very long time now. And I will be honest, it's not like I feel as though I am entirely ready to use this deck, but it's more that I'm being drawn to use it now. This is a deck that I'd originally thought I would keep aside for at least 2 years before actually using it, while I learn it, while I meditate on each card, while I do each card justice that way. So I'm talking about the Thoth deck here. This is the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck. I don't know many tarot readers who use this deck at all. It's a very challenging deck, but it's by far the one that I was drawn to when I first started reading the tarot, and one that I knew I had to purchase. I needed to purchase. So don't ask me why. Don't ask me why now feels like it's the time to use it, even though I'm not so fully prepared. But hey, let's just go with it, okay? Shall we? So I'm also going to light some incense because it will ease the tension I sort of feel right now. Oh, the tension is so totally not relevant to you, so it's just me. So don't worry about that at all. This is a very important full moon. It's an extremely important full moon. I'm not going to get into the details of the aspects that are occurring, but I can tell you that it has a lot to do with the way that we are transforming as a collective consciousness. It has a lot to do with the hold that Pluto has in us. Pluto is a very strict planet in the sense that Pluto sort of governs old beliefs and structures. Not structures in the way that Saturn does, but beliefs that old belief patterns that we are just so used to that it's almost impossible to break out of these habits. And right now, with Pluto being in Capricorn this way, you know, there is a chance for us to either evolve or regress, and I'm of the opinion that we need to evolve, correct? I'm of the opinion that if we don't start to take care of our own personal lives, then the way that we benefit society as a whole is going to struggle as well. That's why I want to talk about the collective consciousness and how we can really start to make a difference now. And that we've always had the potential to make a difference, of course, but it's just that now the energies are very high that way, and we have a choice to make. We will either continue on a path that is not serving us, or we will break free from restrictive ideals, just things that are not working for us anymore. That's usually what full moons are about anyway, purging and letting go and detoxifying. I know I say this a lot. I know every tarot reader says this a lot, but it must be emphasized that different phases of the moon serve different purposes, and the full moon is the time when we revisit old patterns, usually everything that we've done in the past month, and we put an end to projects, we put an end to loose ends before we start any new projects on the new moon. Anyway, you guys, let's see. I love these cards. I really do. They intimidate me, but I love them. Wow. Okay. So, and I'm also laying out a Celtic cross. I've decided. Okay? Central issue here, we have the Six of Wands. Your challenge is the Prince of Discs. The Knight of Pentacles, in other words. Right off the bat, this tells me that your challenge this month is to slow down. Wow, okay. The central theme, though, is you being very victorious, Libra. Okay. The central theme is talking about victory here. It's talking about getting what you want, essentially. We all want to be victorious. When we tend to be on a winning streak, though, then we start to feel like we can loosen up, right? Loosen up our bonds, and this means that we also open ourselves up to error because we feel like, okay, now we can celebrate, we can go out, we can have a few drinks, and we don't have to stress as much because things are heading in the direction that we've wanted them to head in for a while now. But your challenge here with the Prince of Discs is really to pay attention to the details, to remember to ground yourself. As an air sign, it is important for us to remain grounded. It's important for you to turn to your root chakra, perhaps your base chakra, do some work there. Try to remain humble. Try to remain humble, because until you have it in the palm of your hands, you don't really have it. And this applies to a number of things. It can apply to anything, really. Just because the object of our affection, or the person whom we have a desire to be with, all hypothetical, of course, glanced in our direction, smiled in our direction, or sent us a number of messages, okay, that suggests they want to start something up with us, doesn't mean, for example, that, hey, they are on board and ready to commit or ready for a relationship. And likewise, just because we have an opportunity be presented in our way doesn't mean that this opportunity is ours and that we've sealed the deal, correct? Like, there is a lot of work that needs to go into our manifestation. We are co-creators. It all starts in our minds, and if you keep this up, and if you keep up your positive energy, of course, then there's a higher chance that you will truly earn your vision. So, baby steps. One of the best case scenarios here, and what's crowning you in your mental thoughts is the Three of Cups, which is very beautiful. Here we're talking about abundance. Here we're really talking about so much luck coming your way, and this is what is feeding victory. This is what is feeding the success that we're talking about, that is at the center of your reading. However, of course, with this card, okay, with the Three of Cups crowning you in your mental thoughts, this is what you want. This is what you are clinging on to. This is what you feel you already have. And of course, when you feel this way, you attract it, which is great. But we ought to remain humble, because it doesn't mean that we are done with the work that is needed to actually achieve this abundance, for it to actually start to take form. It's very much just a feeling, and feelings and emotions are not things that we can hold on to. They are not they are not within our control as much as we would like them to be. Okay, your foundation card is the Four of Swords reversed. So there is a feeling of unrest. Civil unrest is coming to me. And I think the reason why now I'm speaking as though I don't feel like I'm addressing one person. I really feel like I'm addressing us as a group. I feel like I'm addressing us as a community here. And Libra, you are feeding all of us so much luck. You are feeding all of us so much luck. You're at the center of if I'm pausing, it's because so many cards have flipped upside down here, and I'm not sure whether or not I should pay attention to them. I'm sorry. Shall I show them to you? I'll show them to you either way, but we're putting them back into the deck. Let's agree to put them back into the deck. Okay? Emperor, Knight of Wands, the Star, the Two of Cups, the Universe. I'll continue to shuffle. So, back to the original discussion, I'm addressing us as a community here because I feel like Libra, you with your ability to feed us a lot of luck, a part of your luck, the luck that you are gaining this year, with Jupiter being in your sign for the majority of the year, although it is retrograde for a while, means that you can also tilt things in our favor. So, depending on how you decide to utilize the luck that comes your way, if you decide to be selfish with it, or if you decide to be selfless and feed us more power, then there will be a sense of civil unrest. It all lies in your hand. The moment you feel like you are tilting yourself off balance, you are not in balance, we will also feel to a certain degree that we are not in balance. And that is why I feel as though this is the foundation of your reading here. The Four of Swords in the reverse here talks about not wanting to not wanting to surrender to the flow of things, because you feel and you taste this abundance. It is there. It's within arm's reach. But like I said, it is still not in the palm of your hands. You are being given a taste of victory. You're being fed what it's like to achieve success. Success being around the corner, being the focus of your reading, but you're being urged to slow down. You're being urged to be a bit more patient. This is something you do not want to do, though. This is something you just want to rush into. You're being a bit hasty, and this is something that's going to keep you up at night. This is something that's going to have you feeling rather worried. It's not a very strong foundation card to come to the reading with. At the very same time, I'm not saying you want to fight. You are not trying to fight. You do not want to cause a war to erupt between you and others, family, society at large. No, if anything, you're wishing for peace, but it's very difficult for you, perhaps at this time, to really truly feel at peace. I keep dropping all the cards. To really truly feel like you are at peace. Because of your personal situation, and also perhaps because the world around you is not behaving that way either. Wow, okay. In the past position here, we have this Five of Wands in the reverse. This is good when it's in the reverse because it tells me that you are too tired to fight, nor do you want to fight, nor have you ever wanted to fight. You're always the sign that pushes for equality. At least you want to behave in a fair manner. You want the people around you to also treat each other as fairly as possible. You're the kind of sign that will not feel happy and content yourself if people around you are feeling upset. I do realize that over the last couple of months, you have been focusing more on your own personal needs, which can be interpreted as someone who is therefore acting more in their favor than they are in the favor of others. It's just important for other people who come to this reading, if you're cross-watching, to realize that this means that you finally understood that unless you take care of yourself, you can't really take care of people around you. And unless you are genuinely happy, you can't help other people feel happy. Although ironically, at the core of your happiness is also making the people that you care about and love happy. So we realize and we know that fighting with one another is not the best route to take in life. This is in the past position. In the future position is the Six of Swords here. We realize that in order for us to become calmer, in order for us to design the life of our choice, we have to be more strategic. And we have to research our options very carefully. Hence, the Prince of Discs being our challenge. Sorry, I would just like to draw your attention to something. There's something you need to know about this deck. Cards should not be interpreted in the reverse at all with the Thoth deck. In fact, it's like a rule that we do not read reversals with this deck. Yet for your particular reading, I am getting the urge to do so just because more cards than usual are coming out in the reverse. In fact, the next card that came out was the Hermit, and it came out in the reverse. All this is telling me is that there is a major shift that is happening within your life and within our collective consciousness, because Jupiter is in your sign, because Jupiter happens to be one of the more auspicious planets, talking about the giver of luck, the giver of things, expansion and wealth. We ought to pay attention to Jupiter, and we ought to pay attention to how it is that you are also leading your life at this time. So again, I'm just going to reiterate, cards are not meant to be read in the reverse right now. It's just that if I'm being pulled to do this, it's just coming very naturally because I'm used to reading the cards in reverse. The messages that I'm getting my way suggest to me that we are perhaps on the edge of unrest. We are perhaps on the edge of also fixing the strife that's occurred between us in the past. That is why the Four of Swords is reversed. That is why the Five of Wands is in the reverse, because we are we're shifting ourselves from one phase to the next, whether or not we like it. We are approaching our own enlightenment and spirituality in ways that we're not used to. And it's happening at a very, very fast pace here. You come to the reading as a Virgo because your challenge here is to honestly attend to the details of your life in a more strategic form, in a way that doesn't require you to use anyone else's resources but your own. And in doing so, you are also urged to be a bit more of a, you're being urged to tap into your creative potential, the creative potential that you perhaps have been doubting in recent days. But if you take a look around your environment, you will find that there is a lot for you to learn from your environment. So coming to the reading as the Hermit, although yes, it came out in the reverse here, but coming to the reading as the Hermit urges you to go within, but is also pushing us to look outwards in a creative way. The Hermit emphasizes inner work, but it is directing its attitude to the environment. And in your environment here, we have the Fool. Polar opposites. The Fool and the Hermit are polar opposites. They require two different strategies. When we are going to combine such polar opposites in a reading like this, we ought to make sense of our creative potential here. We ought to discover a new strategy in the future. We ought to come to a balance between our inner knowing and that which our environment currently is supporting. in your doubts, fears, hopes or fears, excuse me. The desire to become stronger. You have this desire to become stronger. You have this desire to work towards the best version of yourself. This requires a very slow progression. The High Priestess, evolving to this level of trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, trusting your guts, and knowing that certain things will be revealed in time. Especially for men, for some reason, is something that I'm getting here, especially for men. There is this emphasis of using dialogue to get to where we want to get, using communication to serve us and serve the people around us, using the time that you have with friends and family to discuss rather important matters that will also help each other grow, that will also help each other become stronger. Through union and harmony and community here, we can really help each other grow. Okay, now, Libra, for some reason, I forgot that I needed to do this, that I wanted to do this. This was how I was supposed to start your reading, and yet I didn't. Let's have a look at the cards that appeared in your original April reading. We had the Queen of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, the Moon, the Four of Cups reversed, Knight of Cups, Five of Wands, back here, in the past, okay? Six of Pentacles, and Three of Swords. The reason why I decided to write down the previous cards that appeared here was really so that I'd be able to compare whether or not there would be a recurring theme that we ought to listen to. And in this case, the Five of Wands has come up here once again in your mid-month reading, but in the past position. So, we are putting this behind us. We are putting behind us the idea of struggling, the idea of competing and fighting and challenging ourselves. Not ourselves, but challenging the people around us, realizing that the only person we need to challenge is ourselves. The only person we need to improve is ourselves. And by doing this, we will be able to go back to that original state of wanting to help others and being able to help others. So, there is this desire to come back to our power and our strength and have more control and have a hold of situations that have otherwise been out of our grasp. The only way to do this is to really push for more work and is to trust our gut and our intuition. That is how we learn the lessons of previous mistakes that we've made in this past month. And the way to do this is by speaking cleverly, by being smarter with the words that we choose, the thoughts that we embrace, and the actions that we decide to implement for the remaining days of this month. Easy does it, baby steps, slow movement, but not too slow. That's our challenge. Okay. I don't know if you guys want to see the cards again, but you know, that's what I have for you. That's your reading. Okay? We're very close to victory. We are dealing with victory here. We are dealing with success. And our challenge is just to slow down and realize that it isn't ours to keep just yet. It is ours to work on. That we need to slow things down a little bit. That we are being fed this success through divine abundance and love that is coming from above, that is also coming from a support system around us. We have this, we feel it, it's in our minds, it's in our hearts, yet we haven't been able to work with it in a material form just yet. One that's also causing us to feel slightly unrest, some slight unrest in our foundation. It's shaking us up a little bit. This is a little bit normal. We are coming out of this competition, this need to fight and compete with one another, realizing that really the only way that we can progress as individuals is also to progress as a society. We need to reformulate a strategy in our lives to move on to more calmer times. This is urging us to work within ourselves, but to also pay attention to how we can make a difference in our community. It's striking a balance between inner work and working outwards as well to find that creative potential. We want to avoid, well, we don't want to avoid, we want to work towards becoming stronger, of course. But here we have to watch out for our ego. So we can be afraid of our ego. We can be afraid of thinking that we have it all, just in case it gets taken away from us. But at the same time, we are hoping to become stronger versions, more successful versions of ourselves. Your outcome card is this high priestess. And she's saying here, she's urging us to really pay attention to our intuition and our gut. That is the best case scenario. And it's also telling me that perhaps some things that were not very well known to you at the beginning of the month will start to become known towards the end of the month. We just have to be patient. Alright, Libra, that was your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. And I would just like to say, I do appreciate your likes, and I do appreciate you coming to view these videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I hope you do. And I'll see you next month. I will see you guys next month for your new monthly readings. Take care.